Yo, 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 what's going on, everybody? It is your boy, the worst damn gamer ever, aka Chris. I have to say thank you to all of the support, all the love, the new followers, the people on TikTok. They're really coming out. The world is accepting me. It means a lot to me. Today, it's a special edition of the Midnight Matinee. We're doing it midday on a Friday. We're keeping you engaged. We're keeping you going. You guys deserved it. We got to get back on track as well because we missed a couple weeks. So this is how we're doing it. I still got one episode that's edited and I freaking keep forgetting to put it up. So as soon as this one's done and this live is over, I will be uploading that one as well for you to go watch. The playlist is being created on YouTube. Appreciate you guys so much. I made affiliate on fucking Twitch. Woo! Today on the Midnight Matinee, we're talking about Guardians of the Galaxy 2, and we got our friend with us, Groot Sturdy! What's good, homie? You're muted.
Glad to be here. Group Sturdy is glad to be here. Sir Sturdy, as you guys know, and congratulations on making affiliate. That's dope.
Thank you.
That's awesome.
Those of you who don't know, that means I can start earning money. I can start earning a living off of this through your support. So I greatly appreciate you guys. I need you guys to start watching these podcasts as well, because this is even more of a process to put together and do than even the gaming stuff and the chop ups and all the TikToks. So make sure you come and supporting the Z Network. Make sure you're coming out supporting the Midnight Matinee. Make sure you're supporting Horror with Sir Sturdy. Mick Manhattan, it's live, brother. It's live. Wow, what happened? You got the notification a couple times, didn't you? Yeah, I'm trying to let people know. Yo, I'm coming. I'm coming out. I want the world to know I am Star-Lord, yo. Do. So, yo, Mick, I'm super excited. I'm affiliate. It's in real life. It's here. It's happening. I can start earning points off of different things that the chat does and engages with. Yo, screwed up, baby. Thank you for coming through on the chat. Appreciate you. Tell Jahan. Love you guys. Appreciate all the support. You guys are the group that's helping push me forward and propel me as well. The Run Till You Fly gang, the GR family of Grace and Rogers. I mean, you guys are super dope. Really appreciate you. Thanks for coming out today. Nick Manhattan of the Scene Snobs. Super just engaging. He makes you want to get better and do things. He's got tons of ideas and he does a great job. So another person I got to say thanks to. Who's there? We got some people lurking. Go with the flow 3. What's good? Let's get it. It's turning into a dope stream. If this is your first time here, this is the Midnight Matinee with the worst damn gamer ever. Usually this happens Saturday nights at midnight. But we missed a couple weeks. Got one that's edited up and pre-recorded. I got to throw up for you. Instead of me doing that again, causing myself a little extra work, I figured we go live today. Get it out. Instead of the gaming, because I'm going to be gaming tonight, because it's Fortnite Friday. So if you're down with the Fortnite, the no builds or the builds, if you're down with the shits, come watch, come enjoy. I'm trying to get the group together. I got 4 or 5 people I usually play with every night from like 9 p.m. to like whenever the fuck the cows come home. So I appreciate y'all coming through. Sturdy, what the fuck is going on with you, brother? What's good?
First of all, I'm doing great. Podcast is going pretty good. Starting a Patreon. I'm actually going to be going live on, you mentioned the Scene Snobs, Mick Manhattan show tonight. I'm going to be a guest on his show for the Friday the 13th special.
Yep.
Cannot wait for that. I know that's going to be a great freaking time. And I'll be recording Patreon content this weekend, guys. I can't wait to do that and get it launched for you guys to see it. And I hope you guys support me on that, because there's going to be some all my Patreon content as of right now is going to be exclusive. There's going to be some all my Patreon horror show reviews. There's going to be sober watches with Sir Sturdy. With, do you guys know I smoke or I'll have a drink before I do podcasting usually on my shows? Sober, and it's going to be shitty movies that people are going to be sending me, but you got to be a part of the Patreon to be a part of that. So just make sure you guys tune in for that. Go to horrorsourcing.com as well and just tune in, guys. There's some dope fun stuff coming around here. There's some dope fun stuff. And again, congratulations to my guy for making an affiliate. He's busting his ass doing this shit. Go give his Twitch some love. Go give his YouTube some love and all that fun stuff.
Yo, it's so crazy because, like, you start looking at the numbers every so often. Like, I wasn't even looking at the numbers. I'm a numbers guy. But then I start to creep in and kind of look and poke my nose and try to see what's going on. I'm almost at 500 hours of stream on just Twitch. Now, let alone the posts I've done on fucking YouTube. I have over 250 fucking videos up on YouTube as well. Different variety of stuff, more stuff coming. So it means a great deal for everybody to support. Come out, watch these shows, hit that like, hit that subscribe, show love and support to the guys that I'm affiliated with and all the people that are supporting me and helping me grow and engage. So it means a lot. That's the whole shit about this. It's building community, right? It's building assets in your team, building people around you that want to see you thrive and see you do better, and you want the same for them. So you do what you can for them, they do what they can for you. It's super dope, super dope. I'm ecstatic today. Today I already knew it was gonna be a good day. I already knew. I started this morning out with some affirmations and shit like that. Turned on YouTube, sat down, just looked out in the garden and shit. Just listened to some really dope, positive shit. Reminded myself of a couple things, like Screwed Up Baby just said. She said, "You got this, bro. You got this." And you know what? I do. I got you guys as well, so it means a lot. So I'm super grateful. I'm super, super, super ecstatic to be able to say thank you to everybody, to say thank you to the creator, to say thank you to the energy that's being put out and being received, because I'm putting myself out there. And it's something that I've wanted to do for a long time, and now I'm so happy that I'm finally fucking doing it, and I took the leap off the bridge, because this is just a small step in the grand scope and vision that I have for the brand of Worst Damn Gamer and Worst Damn Entertainment and all this other stuff that I got going on. It's already starting to open doors with hosting other podcasts. It's already starting to open doors and conversations with other people that got other content avenues going, whether it's radio or voiceover or any of this other stuff. Nothing's come to fruition just yet, but the fact that the conversations are being had and that those doors seem like they're being cracked and I can at least poke and peek through, it means a ton to your boy Star-Lord here today.
Hell yeah.
With no further ado, we got to get going here on the Guardians of the Galaxy Part 2. Now, we had a great time on Part 1. We touched on so many different aspects of that movie, like we always do on this podcast, talking about different things from people's characters to morality to struggles that they see and stuff like that. And it's a common theme in all of these movies that, it's going to be revisited again, but at the same time, it's different context. There's different situations and circumstances for these characters now, right? The story's evolved. We got to grow and watch them and learn about them and connect with them on the first one and watch them grow and connect together. And that was the beauty of that team of band of misfits, thieves, and murderers, essentially coming together. And they're one of the greatest assets that the universe has at this point within, the MCU. So now that we're further along, now this starts to hit home a little bit. And I don't know if you guys saw the title. You see the title. I don't know if you saw the description. But my boy Peter Quill, aka Star-Lord, this guy right here, he's got some daddy issues in this one.
Definitely
he had a rough growing up, right? As far as the tragedy that ensued that he had to live through. Then the motherfucker gets abducted by aliens. And now out of nowhere, his dad is here. Like, daddy's home. What the fuck? What the fuck?
Yep, his dad finally, comes into the picture, so to speak.
Like, where was you? How far was that gallon of milk?
That shit was far as fuck. That's how far that shit was. It was in another galaxy. It was a different part of the galaxy.
Like, why did you pick my mom? Like, so many questions come out of this for me. You know what I mean? And I'm not scarred or anything. Yeah, I mean, we all have some of our issues of our childhood and stuff like that. Some that may have, given us nightmares, or some that made us cringe, or some that, left us physically altered in ways. Whatever. Shit happens. You kind of try to move past it and learn to deal with it and accept it for what it is. But goddamn, I'm sorry, man. Why did you pick my mama? Why did you plant that plant in the ground on Earth? Why did you leave me?
Mm-hmm.
And then by the end of this movie, you get a, "Are you fucking serious?" moment.
This movie got fucking, like, just the shift from beginning to end is when it really got more serious and more kind of like, what's the word I'm looking for? I guess tugging on the heartstrings at some points.
Yeah.
At some points.
I mean, for your dad to be absentee and then show up. Right? Isn't that great? So Nick Manhattan from the Scene Snobs just said it's on the screen. Well, oh yeah, you can see it on mine too. Yep. So Kurt Russell, they de-aged him. They used some CGI. They did
Only 10%.
makeup, but the CGI was basically like airbrush effects, just to kind of smooth him out, get rid of some of his grays and shit like that, and like some of the wrinkles or whatnot. So they did an awesome job at making him look like he's fucking 30, 40 years younger, in his prime
Which
in the 70s. Love and peace, y'all.
now see that there, because I say this shit all the time on the horror podcast. That there, what Mick just said is very important and very amazing. That means Hollywood, whoever, hire these amazing makeup artists, hire these amazing effects artists, give them that money because it just makes their product look so much better. I understand you have to use CGI, but again, if it's 90-10, that's beautiful. That's
Hmm.
fucking beautiful. And that's what we really, 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 really love.
You
And I
know,
enjoyed this movie, by the way, guys. I had a great time with this one again. Better than both the Thor movies that I've seen so far. I'm gonna keep saying that.
where's
And
I'm sorry.
I have kind of a crazy hot take. I'm gonna be shitting on DC real quick. I'd rather watch Batman Forever
Wow.
and Batman and Robin than that Aquaman bullshit. And I hated those movies.
Wow.
Like the more I thought, I was thinking about this the other day. Like I got to get this off my chest. I got to get it out to the people, and this is the right show to do it. And just because of the type of stuff we're talking about, but I had to get that out before we dive back into Marvel stuff. But I'd rather watch those two shitty movies from the '90s than this Aquaman shit, because that shit is just garbage. The way the water looked was garbage. The way the whole movie was to me was just garbage. It sucked. And again, Jason Momoa to me can't act. Great guy, cool guy, but he's more of like one of those he can't be a lead. He's more of one of those background things. And you could say the same about Aquaman, but I don't even think he should play Aquaman. Like, what was he in? That popular HBO show? Like shit like that. Game of Thrones. Like being in that medieval type of shit, that big strong dude. Other than that.
I mean, I didn't mind him so much. Yeah, I think they could have directed him a little bit better, you know what I mean? Like, in how to portray the character a little bit better. But, he is kind of that charismatic and confident guy, so some arrogance can be felt or whatnot. And that's kind of needed because, Arthur, especially before he took the throne and all that stuff, was a little bit like, well, fuck everything. I'm going to do things how I want to do it type deal. But yeah, I mean, to what Mick was saying as far as the CGI, the makeup, and all that stuff, like we've already seen in the Marvel MCU situations like that occur and alterations to people occur 3-4 times already between Captain America, Nick Fury in Captain Marvel, and some of these other things, and then we see it again with Captain America at the end of this, which we'll talk about when we get to Endgame and all of that stuff. But yeah, they obviously are progressing, right? There's obviously things that are changing within the skill set and the technology that's occurring to allow certain scenes like this to be chef kiss and just fucking on point that you can't be mad at, you can't complain about. I fucking enjoy watching this shit. I love seeing everything build. I love seeing everything grow. I love the stories that are changing and intertwining and just meshing together. It's one of the biggest reasons why like we keep referring back to these movies, because if there wasn't that aspect, I think, of the grand scope of it and them all being connected in some way, shape, or form, which kudos to them for another thing that Marvel did, right? Like Marvel and Stan Lee with all of his characters and his other creators and stuff were ahead of their time in trying to push social issues and political things and all of this other stuff,
Yeah.
right? But now here we are grouping in motion pictures with the quality that we're getting, but it then reminds you of so many different character traits that are important to share and make sure we're building upon with our younger generations and stuff like that, like the notion of oneness or togetherness, that even though we're all different galaxies, different planets, different situations, different trades, different, whatever we go through, whatever path we get led to and end up on and finish out our days on, we're all still in it together. So we have to be mindful that, yeah, we can be individuals and we can bump into each other and we can knock heads, but at the same time, we still gotta love and respect each other, because if something comes along, like Thanos or whatever, or currently a pandemic in our world, right? Or war, famine, all that stuff, like we can easily be taken out if we forget that we need to uphold each other. And that's one of the greatest things that these characters and these stories keep reminding people of in one way, shape, or form.
Mm-hmm. And I have the movie playing, as you know, in the Discord. It just got through that big battle where they're fighting that big beast in the beginning.
Yep.
And what I thought was funny with what the hell is his name? What is Batista's character's name? What is his name?
Drax.
Drax is when he was how the creature has that thick skin, and he was like, okay, so the creature has thick skin, so I'm gonna go inside and get it from the inside because it'll be. And they're just like, I like how Star Lord and Gamora were just like, it's gonna be the same thickness from the inside or the outside. I'm like, what the? I like that part just made me laugh. Like, what is he getting at? What is he saying? What's going through his mind when he's thinking?
I love this scene too. That opening scene is literally one of my favorite scenes of like ever within the MCU. Might even be one of my favorite scenes of all time. I mean, you got the whole banter and cuteness of the team. Like they're still dysfunctional to a certain thing, but they're getting missions done. They're out there, you know, being paid to do things for people and be good about them, not fucking destructive and, you know, the cutthroat kind of, you know, pirate type fucking, you know what I mean, thieves type deal. They're all kind of reformed at this point. But they still have their fucking issues. They still have their personalities. They still got to mesh on different levels. You got Rocket talking to fucking Baby Groot trying to explain to him how not to kill everybody. And the kid just doesn't get it. You know what I mean? I love, and that's part of one of the things that are running in the corner down here or over here is the trailer or whatnot that shows that little bit of that scene where the dialogue's back and forth, Rocket's yelling at Baby Groot, not that one! Anybody got some tape? Anybody got some tape? I want to put some tape over the kill us all button or whatever he says. I fucking love it. And then Groot just was like, I got this. He picks up the thing. And Rocket's like, oh, this is not going to be good. You know what I mean? It's like, oh, shit. Like, we got to get moving here.
Yeah, I love that. I love the back and forth banter. It's hilarious, and for the what works with it is it works with this group, like with the Guardians. It works with that group so well. Everybody has their certain personalities. You have Rocket being kind of like a little bad. He has like that little guy syndrome. He has a good heart, but he's still like the shifty, sneaky asshole. Like how he stole the batteries.
Yep.
And just that right there just causes a whole bunch of shit that didn't need to happen, but it happened. And stuff like that just kind of has me laughing. So how you were saying how they were kind of reforming and switching, but they still have kind of their old ways. Like he's still doing the stealing shit, which I just thought was hilarious. I'm like, oh shit, he don't give a fuck.
I loved how Quill is like, all right, guys, let's get ready, blah, 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 blah. And then Rocket's over here trying to, like, build a bomb and, like, secure some shit. But at the same time, he's like, that can wait a second. Let me try to get the speaker working for for Peter over here so that he can listen to his music. He's like, are you seriously trying to get music going right now? You're the one who always wants to listen. Like, you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And then that's another thing that plays a great role in this movie as well is the soundtrack, again, comes through. So many great tracks in this, so many vibes that occur from this, and they do a great job selecting them for the moments that they select them for. And again, kudos to James Gunn and his team, you know, that got through all of this and made this happen the way it did.
Yeah, I was gonna say the soundtrack again, amazing. And I'm already assuming that for the third one, which is unfortunately the final one, as far as we know, is going to have just as good of a soundtrack as these two.
I'm sure it's gonna. I can't wait to see, because that's the other thing that I love about the soundtrack, right? It's not newer relevant music. It's not shit of this time, really. It's that older stuff. It's shit from the 60s. It's shit from the 70s. It's shit from the 80s. It's like, yeah, you can vibe out to that. So that'll group in the people that are like there to be entertained with their kids, right? That are like, okay, these dudes got some swag. You know what I mean? And then you get the comedy aspect.
Yeah, and then I was gonna say too, with the whole music, like you get it, like you're saying how it's from the 60s and up to like the 80s, maybe even early 90s. For me, it brings me back to when I was a kid, and you have those family gatherings, and your parents are playing or whoever's house you're at is playing these same songs for the most part. And what I love about it too is these songs aren't like the ones that you just heard. You know, we always make the joke like this is the white song, this is the black song, this is the Spanish song. Like all of us grew up hearing this music. It was like universal, and that's what I loved about it too. Like I'm sure there were times you can think back when you were a kid, some songs from these movies. Like I remember being at, you know, your mom's or your grandmother's or your aunt or uncles. And this goes to everybody. And like I remember hearing these songs at a cookout. You know, the kids were us as a kid, we were playing in the backyard or whatever. But we remember hearing these songs at the cookout being blasted throughout the household and all that other stuff. That kind of puts you a good feeling, a good thing in there right here. And again, another reason I feel like these movies are so family friendly, just because of that right there. Because that right there is going to get kids. It's gonna get kids. You know, I'll say anybody under 30 is a kid to me. I'm sorry, I'm 36. That's what I'm saying. So anybody under 30 is a kid to me. But it's gonna get kids to go back and listen to some of this music because they heard it in these movies that they really enjoy, and they see how their parents enjoy it. And instead of like, hey, check this music out, it's like, oh, cool, this was in, and they might only know it from this movie. Like, oh, this is Guardians of the Galaxy song. They may just call it that, which is cool. And then the parent will be like, oh, this is actually blah 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 blah. This came out here, blah 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 blah. Actually, here's an album. Here, maybe you'll enjoy more of their music. So I think that's a very, very dope thing and important.
They do a great job with the writing, with the comedy and all this shit and the delivery. I mean, I'm sure Chris Pratt, you know, was vital in that. I'm sure they had super talented writers, but then also the delivery and Chris Pratt's kind of natural ability to kind of make a situation humorous. You know what I mean? So that plays a role, and I got to give him praise because this character, even though it's like, I hate saying it, especially when it's so good, but it's almost like he's playing himself as someone from the galaxy, you know what I mean, from the stars, like, you know what I mean, but at the same time there's the individuality that he brings out of the character that, like, it's obviously nowhere near the relation to like his thought process and all this other stuff because you're dealing with so many different things, but the way he delivers the humor, the way he brings out the character's charisma and shit like that, it's just super dope because he developed this character and the writers help him get to a point that, like, the guy jumps on the screen and almost instantly I'm smirking. I'm like, okay, what the fuck is about to be done or what's about to be said? You know what I mean? What stupid shit is about to happen?
Exactly. It's funny you say that because that's what I think of when Drax and Rocket are together. Because those two are always starting some shit up. Again, when Rocket steals the batteries and Drax sees it, just starts laughing. Like shit like that. Or when later in the movie when, you know, the chick that's like reading their minds and stuff.
I was just gonna say that shit.
And Drax starts, like, she's talking about, was it Star-Lord, right?
Yep.
And Drax was fucking just laughing his ass off. He was like, do me next, do me. Just...
Dude, I fucking love that. I sense love. Sexual love. I mean, sexual, strong love to her. And then Drax is like, he's like, no, what? No. And she smirks a little bit, fucking Gamora smirks a little bit, and then Drax is like, ha 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 ha! She told your deepest, darkest secret! Just...
Yep, I love it.
Oh, it just fucking hit so hard. It just hit so hard. I fucking loved it. Loved it.
It's just, like, the casting they did for this, I don't think they could have did a better job at it, honestly. It works so freaking well, and like you were saying with the personality of Chris Pratt and being Star-Lord, I feel like all these people have a very, not the same exact personality, of course, but a very small similarity to that personality, and that's where Marvel does great with the casting. It's like, okay, who's going to fit this role? Not just because you may look like the person from the comic book or whatever, or even just the animated series, but how is your personality without it making it look like you're acting? You know what I mean? Without it making it look like you're acting, make it look kind of natural.
Yeah.
And they do a really, really, really good job with that. DC, take some notes. And that's just something that I've been really enjoying throughout this whole Marvel universe up to this point, to where we got to up to this point. They do a real good job at that. Now, of course, some movies are better than others, but that's with anything. But again, it's not. None of them are bad. Like, I haven't watched, as far as this universe, I haven't watched a bad movie. And that right there is saying a lot. Like, my lowest rating was a 7.
Yep. Agreed. Like, you know, and it's funny because as these movies keep going and the characters and stuff like that, honestly, like, let me delicately put this. Well, no, I'm trying to think of like my least favorite characters of the entire MCU, and I would have to say it's probably Gamora. Like, I feel like at times she's just a, I don't want to say whiny, but it comes across to me as just a bitter and just.
Yep.
That's awesome. That's fucking awesome.
I'll tell you how. Oh, go ahead.
No, you're good. I just feel like she just comes off as, like, I understand she's powerful, right? She's a strong individual woman, right, of the galaxy. I get that, but I just feel like she's so overbearing and just so wound up and constricted, but it almost comes off as whiny to me, and I'm just like, here we go again. But then you get fucking Nebula, and she is literally pretty much just a bitter, whiny bitch about her sister. And it's like, I just always wanted to be the one that he loved. Like, and I get that. The siblings have rivalries, and there's always a favorite, even though a parent won't say there's a favorite. Come on, there's, you know,
Oh,
you
I
love
already
at
know.
least one of those kids a little. You may not love them anymore, but you like them more. Like,
I already know. I'm not. When it comes to my mother, I'm not the favorite. I'm 3 out of 3, and I'm fine with that.
that's funny.
My dad's I'm higher on the list.
That's funny.
We all know.
Yeah, I mean, come on. We don't
It's not like
agree
they don't
with
love you.
everybody and everything in this world. We may not, not want to, completely hate you.
But
we just would rather. We would rather go this way than that way. But sometimes you gotta do
Mick,
this shit that you don't want to do, and it's
Yeah.
this way.
but to Mick, really quick, how you're saying hearing group talk is messing you up. So here's what I did, right? Instead of hanging out with Vin Diesel trying to learn how to talk, I just started hanging out with smarter people.
Wow.
He can only say a few words as it is, and he just kept saying I am Groot. I'm like, you know what? Thinking in my head, like saying I am Groot, but what I was saying was I'm tired of this shit. I need to talk to smarter people. So I did. That's what happened.
So wait, hold on. So I gotta address this real quick. So right now we're discussing the fact that Groot only knows 2 or 3 words and can syllabize and articulate those as conversation because he decided to go hang out with Vin Diesel and family.
Yeah.
Yes! I just hit it. That was perfect timing, Mick. Family. I don't have friends, I have family.
Yeah. And that's what the G Network is. Family.
Yeah, absolutely. I enjoy doing the cross promotion for people and stuff like that. You know what I mean? It may not be reciprocated all the time, but they still show love. They hit the likes. They fucking come through. They watch some of the content. It means a lot. And I'm all about helping uplift and shit like that. You know what I mean? I don't always have to do things for something. There are certain things that I do. And you got to make sure you get what you get out of it. But other than that, it's like whatever. Everybody's just trying to win at their game and their mission. So I have no problem fucking being a cheerleader for anybody who is doing their grind, who's actually showing that they put in the work and trying to help themselves. The Z Network loves the Z Network, and the Z Network loves the Scene Snobs.
Exactly.
Those of you who are in the chat, if you're obviously here, if you're staying and you're watching and you enjoy movies, not just this one or just the conversation here, go check out the Scene Snobs. Tons of movie-related content, tons of interactive stuff, tons of conversation that questions are asked that will make you want to respond. So as you're watching it and you're seeing their conversation and they're responding to each other, you will want to hop into the chat. You will want to type some shit down and be a part of the conversation. So go check it out. He does everything from horror to pop culture. I mean, he takes different spins. Him and his partner Casey take different spins. And like for Marvel movies, there was a segment I wanted to be on where they changed the narrative of like, what would it be like to be in the Marvel universe and like schooling and different aspects of actual life and like what effects would it have on these different things and how would you be, running your life through it and experiencing the shit like that? Like what would it be like to actually be a person in a Marvel universe? You know what I mean? So tons of cool shit and tons of cool content. Go check him out. Today's Friday the 13th and he's got a special episode coming on where he's curating and he's leading the way for con down in North Carolina. So go check
Carolina
out the
Fear
scenes.
Fest.
Carolina Fear Fest. There you go. So go check out the sneamstabs.com. Check out his content. Join him on that journey tonight at what, 8 or 9 p.m.
7.
7. There you go. So as soon as he's done, because he's on, I think 7 to 9, he said, or 7 to 10. As soon as he's done, hop back on over to my page. Check out Fortnite Friday, because we're gonna be getting the banter's always fun. The crew has a good time talking shit to each other while winning. So hope you guys enjoy that. Hope you're enjoying this episode. Midday here on Friday of the Midnight Matinee. So let's keep the ball rolling with Guardians of the Galaxy here.
Yes,
Where
yes.
were we? We're coming up on about the midway point. Kurt Russell gets introduced. He's Star-Lord's dad. Okay, let me backtrack. Rocket fucking does a stupid thing, right? He steals from the people that were paying him, gets them into some shit. Now they're getting fucking, they're being targeted by all these drones that are trying to take them out. And it's like a fucking game for the pilots, right? Back at home, they're like, no, it is a principle. We got to make our mark.
Talking to you.
Bro, honestly, this is something that just kind of happened. We were supposed to record it yesterday initially, and then we was like, hey, he's got tomorrow off, so do you want to just do it tomorrow? I was feeling a little bit lazy and doing the setup for it, and I was like, let me just get some streaming done, because I wasn't in the mode for streaming or being on camera, but I forced myself to do it, and I'm glad I did. It was one of my best episodes and streams, so you can go check that out as well. Super positive fucking messages at the beginning, all of related to streaming and gaming and all this other shit and just pushing through. So hope you enjoy that. Go see that. But I will definitely keep you in mind, especially now that it seems like you want to and you're eager. I wasn't sure. I thought you were just being nice the first couple times. Like, yeah, you know what? This is a good time. I'll do it again. I get it. I get it. You got to be a PR guy sometimes. I wasn't sure if I was your favorite cousin. You know what I'm saying?
Yep, you got a Puerto Rican cousin now, Mick, and a black one.
Wait, what did you just type in there? I missed that. BT man, invite him for that one. Oh, Batman.
Yeah, that's what I meant.
So yeah, if you've seen the Batman, you got 2 chances to talk about that, because we're gonna be doing one for Popcorn and Pints, but I'm gonna be doing one. I was intending on doing it by myself, but at the same time, I would much rather have you with me if you want to do it. I don't think Sturdy can make it, so
He's talking to you, Mick.
What's good, Mick? You want to get going on the Batman? That'll be the next one, and that'll be another bonus episode for the Midnight Matinee. If you have the available time, let's work on the schedule. Let's get it going so that we can go live and get it out to these fine people who are viewing me at the moment.
There you go, man. And he'll have it at an earlier time so Grandpa can go night-night.
You know what? Screw that. We gotta do some character building here. Get staying up again, youngster. Every episode's gonna be at midnight till 3 a.m. Saturday night, just for Mick. We're gonna glue and tape his eyelids open.
Tape his eyelids open.
Dude, I'm loving this fucking Star-Lord fucking mask right now too. By the way, I'm not gonna lie. Not gonna lie. What do you say? What I miss? Why am I not seeing this come through? Is this on the Worst Damn Gamers thing or the Z Network? What is this on?
It's on the Worst Damn Gamers on the Z Network.
So where's his comment? Where are you at right now?
He's on your Worst Damn Gamer page.
Why is it not coming through to my restream chat? I'm supposed to be able to see those at least so I can respond to them. It's fucking stupid. I'm in as long as it's before Matlock. Wow. I'll make sure it's between Matlock and Columbo and Murder, She Wrote, okay? We'll make sure we're good.
There you go. Oh man, I love it. This right here, people, is why I love podcasting. This back and forth jokes, this back and forth banner. It's all love. We all know that. It just makes it kind of go and have fun. We get the laughs and we talk about the movie still too. But we also break off of awesome conversations and ideas. You don't believe me? Tune into the Thursday episode of Horror Research 30. The movie sucked, but the conversation was excellent.
Yep.
And I love that shit.
Yeah, the episode was better than the entire movie. 2 movies in a row, essentially.
Yeah. It happens
Tuesdays
like that.
And Thursdays.
It happens like that, but we're getting on a better trend next week, hopefully.
Yeah, we got some things planned for you guys, so make sure you're going to check out Horror with Sir Sturdy Tuesdays and Thursdays at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, so that all the time zones understand how to do the math. Do a Google search so that you know when you're actually supposed to come watch. Don't come watch it at 8 p.m. your time if you're in the UK, because it's going to be fucking, like,
Who knows?
3 o'clock in the afternoon for us.
Like, where is it? It's over, baby. I mean, at the same time, you can go back to the YouTube and watch it.
Yep.
It just won't be live. But you can go back to the YouTube and watch it at 8 o'clock your time. That's fine. But if you want to come in for the live, 8 o'clock Eastern time, horrorsearch30.com, you can get all my content. You can see everything.
Yep. So with Guardians of the Galaxy 2 here, it plays on a couple different aspects of family dynamics, right? You got the family that you built and the family you choose, right? Which are your friends, your closest confidants, and all that. You got the family who you were adopted into, which is Merv's character there. What the fuck's his name? The blue guy. I always forget his name in the movie.
Undo or something like that.
Undo, yes.
Undo. That which he's one of my favorite freaking characters in Guardians of the Galaxy. Oh.
It's you should let me take over for a month and curate what you watch every show. You know, I mean, I'm open to that. I'm definitely open to us doing certain episodes for sure. As I said, there's other movies that I'm going to be throwing in the mix because I don't want this to just be a Marvel podcast or just an MCU podcast or whatnot. It was just the idea that I had to start it off because I knew it would stretch some time out, get me acclimated to the process, get people engaging over time. But there are other movies and other types of movies I want to fucking get down on as well. I know we just said, the Batman and, Doctor Strange we're about to do too. It's not just comic book movies, but at the same time, they're exciting, they're fun, they're intriguing, they have great stories, they're done right, which is why they get selected, which is why I don't mind doing them, which is why they're fucking on the top of the list. Roadhouse. See, and I don't think I've ever seen Roadhouse, so I'll definitely be down for that.
Oh, that would be fun.
I one of the things I want to do is try to keep it kind of newer or whatnot, so the conversation is always kind of in the forefront or whatnot. Don't get me wrong, I want to do episodes that we can get, movie fans in general, great movies, get a different outlook and perspective on them from another channel if they're down for supporting and watching. But I also want to make sure that I keep up in the scope of relevancy and the scope of what's happening in the now type deal in the moment so that people can engage with it off the rip because it's new, it's exciting. People are talking about it anyway during their lunch break or in their group chats or whatever. So I want to make sure that I'm a vessel for them to get in another conversation and give their perspective while we're doing the shows for them as well. But I am down, Mick. I'm down to fucking get together, do some collabs, and do all that shit. I've been trying to get you. You know what I mean? I've been in your inbox. You know what I'm saying? I slid into your DMs, Big Daddy. You know what I'm saying? Star-Lord ain't got no shame in his game. Okay? Okay?
What made that the funniest is because not just the slid in your DM, but the Big Daddy part is where
well, shit, I can just see 6'8". I'm like, fuck, he's even bigger than me. I gotta do this. You know what I'm saying?
Like, you're a big motherfucker too. I'm looking up at you. How tall are you?
About 6'4".
Big motherfuckers for no reason. Neither one of you play basketball. Neither one of you are dunking in the NBA. And dunking in the NBA, all that height. Not saving cats from trees.
I've never dunked. I've always had too much weight on me. I've never dunked. I was always a bigger kid, a heavy set kid, so it's one of those things. I was 12 going on 13, broke my hips, and the reason they broke is because the bones weren't developing fast enough for the height and weight that I was having. So the weight that I had was slowly bending them, and then when I finally fell a certain way one time, one snapped. But yeah, it's okay. Yeah, I was 12, 13, $160, $180, something in that range. At almost 6 foot. So it's god damn, this is a big fucker. And then, in my adult life, 6'4", 6'5", and I was fucking, 350, 360 at my heaviest. And I'm back down to the 250 range. What did Mick just say?
He said I did play ball. I'm 40 now.
That's hilarious. That's hilarious. Yeah, man.
Yeah, but I mean, LeBron is damn near 40, ain't he? He's still playing. Just saying, man.
He stood in it. He made a living. He had to stay conditioned, and he had to stay a well-oiled machine for it. You know what I'm saying?
Only reason why I'm not in the NBA is because I'm 5'8", and I suck at basketball.
Well, there you go. I was because you don't fit the bill.
Mm-mm.
I mean, Muggsy Bogues bald. Don't get that wrong. John Stockton bald. You know what I'm saying? Some of the shortest people ever in the league. Just saying.
I ain't doing that now.
Yeah, I mean, nowadays they're completely different beasts. But I do like that there's a whole lot of other shit that isn't allowed anymore within athletics and shit like that. So that
It's
if you,
safer and his careers can last longer.
well, I just mean like things like performance
Oh,
enhancing drugs and fucking steroids and shit like that. You know what I mean? Because you take MLB from the fucking Mark McGuire, Sammy Sosa days and shit like that. Motherfuckers were looking like they were hitting the rec yard in prison for the last 10 years, smacking this fucking thing 22,000 fucking feet in the air down fucking another 10,000 fucking yards out. You know what I mean? It's like, holy shit. And then they're like, oh, hey, everybody's been juicing. And now you got people that look like you and me playing the sports again that are lean and, looking the way they should because they're conditioned that way, not just
yeah,
fucking
yeah.
beast mode fucking horse tranquil or horse fucking steroids and shit.
So when you look at yourself in the mirror, Mick, you don't get LeBron. When you see yourself, that's what I get when I see you.
I like that immediately.
That Mick is that LeBron. Look alike to me. Just saying.
It's like, yo, LeBron, off season, you've been in a cave
Yeah,
somewhere, your tan's a little gone.
yeah, that's all. You're like LeBron with Michael Jackson at the Vitiligo. That's all. You're just lighter.
Did somebody throw bleach in you on your hair or anything? Cause you blonde now, bruh. And your hair is like silky.
LeBron, which is kind of close to LeBron. You're a little white. That's all.
Wow.
Yep.
Wow.
A
Mm-mm.
white man had.
You silly mofo. Silly man. But
Is that
yeah.
the part? No, is that the part where the girl was touching them all and kind of saying their secrets or whatever? Drax is laughing, and then Gamora's like, "Don't touch me."
Yeah. All right, so sorry, we got off a little tangent. So we were talking about family dynamics. You got the ones that you build and that accept you for who you are, the ones that are adaptive at times, and then the
Go for
ones
it.
you come from, right?
CP back
Space
Jam.
Jam 3.
Hell yeah, dunk it on a Nerf hoop. I'll be there too.
No, what they're doing is they're doing a reboot and a remake of White Man Can't Jump. Mick is gonna be the Woody Harrelson character.
There you go.
Sturdy's
go.
gonna be fucking Snipes.
Yep.
Hilarious.
Instead of Rosie Perez, we're just gonna have Chris speaking a bunch of Spanish and yelling. And
Why do I gotta be the Hispanic chick?
no, definitely, it's the male version. This is 2022, Chris. You can be who you want to be.
Jesus. Anyway, let's talk daddy issues, right? Let's talk family
Yeah.
dynamics and the shit that's the major role of this movie, right? Because literally this movie is littered with it, right? We got family dynamics of dysfunction. We got built families of dysfunction, right? The Guardians of the Galaxy, they come together, they make it work somehow despite their differences. Super impressive. It's great that they do so many things, but let's be honest, they're dysfunctional. You got Gamora and Nebula, Thanos, dysfunctional to the max. One of them's not, well, wait, they're both not even actually his children, right? One was taken prisoner. Gamora was taken prisoner after he destroyed a whole civilization. You got fucking Nebula, who I don't even know if it was actually his daughter or not, that he hacked up and made fucking a robot, essentially, a cyborg, so that she can be more complacent and be better and be almost as good as her sister, who was a natural just
Warrior.
Rage made her good at what she does. Then you got the aspect of Quill and the blue guy there, fucking, what the fuck was his name again? Rondo? Rondu?
Udu or something like that.
I thought it was Rondu.
Who are you talking about?
What's
Oh,
good,
what's
Dirty Lou? The blue guy, Merv. With the fucking arrow.
yeah, Udu or something. It's
Ando.
not
Yondo?
Andy.
Yondo. I think it's with a Y, Yondo.
Anyway, yeah, him.
Then you got that dynamic of him abducting this guy as a child after his mother had just passed away. And instead of him throwing him to the wolves, he saw an opportunity to make him into essentially a pirate, a space pirate. Yondo. Yep, there you go, Yondu. Thanks, Mick. Thank you, Dirty Lou. Appreciate you too in the chat. Thanks for coming through. Hope you're enjoying it so far. We're about halfway through. We're almost done here. So stick around. Stick around to the end. And you got that dynamic of the stepfather aspect of him being a coach and like a mentor in ways, but for the dysfunction. Yep, Michael Rooker. Yep.
Yes, him.
Then
Great
you
job.
got. Oh, he's phenomenal. I mean, we saw what was it a couple weeks ago? Movie from the late 80s or early 90s, late 80s, early 90s. What the fuck was it called? Shit,
For what?
on your show with him in it.
When he was the priest?
Yeah.
I forgot because that was like a month ago. But we did a few movies. We did a couple movies with him, right? One where he was the priest and one where he did something else.
And then
I can't remember what it was.
But yeah.
And we were discussing Walking Dead. That was another thing we
Yeah.
brought up.
And then so you got that dynamic of that dysfunctional mentorship and like evolution and development, right? But these are all the things that also made Star-Lord who it is. And I mean, for him to be the character that he is, I mean, it's kind of a accomplishment and a wonder, right? He's in the minority for someone who's experienced these certain things, been abducted, and now he was running the galaxies, just tooting his own horn, just surviving and doing whatever he could because of the training he got with Yondu. And then now comes in Kurt Russell to be like, hey, Daddy's home. I saved your ass out there in the fucking minefield, and when those ships were about to shoot you down, and then he has to learn all these new things about him, and he thinks he's growing in his relationship and he's bonding and all this stuff, but then it comes to find out there's an ulterior motive that Michael Russell or Kurt Russell has, and it's fucked up. It's really fucked up. And then to find out that through all of that pain and heartache he endured up to that point, all of the trials and tribulations he did, he's come out okay. He still has a sense of humor. He still has his humanity. And the reason why all this even occurred is because of his father, who impregnated his mother, made a child, bounced, planted a seed on the earth as well to help it grow and try to get shit out of it and kind of destroy it as well. But then also basically he gave his mother the cancer that killed her, which I don't even completely understand the reasoning behind that, because it's not like he was like, Peter, I did it so you can become X, Y, and Z. I did it because of this, and it actually occurred that way with his godliness and power or whatnot, his all-seeingness and running the galaxy, apparently. How does he run a fucking whole planet in a galaxy and he's by himself? Like, there's a problem there. You need a mirror. You need to go sit in front of a mirror and go, why am I alone? Why is this like this? Why did I do these things? Did I really have to do these things? Was there another way? Did I have other choices? Did I make the right choices? And this is what I'm saying about all the questions that get arose, especially if you're Star-Lord. Like, wait, why are you here? Where were you? Why did you leave? Why are you back now? He did it so Peter would accept leaving. Peter accepted leaving in 30 seconds after he ran out of hospital, got abducted, and then was almost fucking pirate bait or pirate chow on Yondo's fucking ship. Like, that's what I mean. Like, it just doesn't make sense of, like, means to an end type deal for me.
I think what he means by that, though, like, say if his mother did survive, say if he did get kidnapped or whatever, say that other stuff did play out, he'd be trying to get back to his mother, but because she's not there, it's like, what's the point of me going back? Or maybe.
Yeah, exactly. See, and that's I don't completely agree with it. Obviously, I don't agree with it at all. Not completely. I don't agree with it at all. Like I guess too big ego hired Yondo to bring Peter to him, but never made it right. He kept him for himself and trained him to be a pirate just like him, which I understood that part of the story and all that. But then again, it's like, fuck, man, here we go again. People making choices for other people.
But in Yondu's defense, I mean, the way this movie plays out, he really did care for the kid. He really did care for Star-Lord. He really did care for Peter. Because he pretty much says it. You know, he says it later on in the movie. He was like, why do you think I kept you around, kid? Because, you know, you're always starting, you were going to kill me or eat me or whatever. He's like, why do you think you're still here?
Oh, no, obviously. His crew wanted to eat him.
But he didn't let that happen, is what I'm saying. Like, why do you think you're still here? Why do you think you're still breathing and alive?
Yeah. You know, and that's, I would love to see that story, honestly, that dynamic of, like, Peter growing up in that atmosphere, like, the antics that he has to get into, the lessons that he learned, the bumps and bruises of interacting with other pirates and all this other shit, and, like, seeing exactly how that love developed for Yandu for him because, like, okay, you're on a mission, you're getting paid, you grab your package and you transport her. You know what I'm saying? You don't look in the trunk, you just get the fucking car to the destination, you take your payment and you bounce. So
Well,
why in
Yandu,
this instance did that change?
I remember from this one, I believe, when Yandu was saying that he had him. He initially said he kept him around because he can fit in small places. And he was like, "You really feel like that was it?" You know what I mean?
Ego will kill all of the kids that were brought to him by Yandu because they weren't powerful enough. It waited on Yandu and couldn't do it when he met Peter. See, and I completely missed that, and this is probably my fourth or fifth time watching this movie. I completely missed that aspect of the story, which kind of makes sense now. So
Yeah.
so then now that brings in a new aspect of, okay, even though this guy isn't the greatest guy, Yando I'm talking about, he's surviving, he has his crew, he's doing what he does, it's lucrative, he's part of the guild or whatnot, even though he got thrown out and tossed, he's an actual fucking I was gonna say disenfranchised, but what's it called? He's banished as well, and you learn that with Sly Stallone's character in this, that he was part of the cruise and he got blacklisted and fucking pretty much banished. And it's like, oh shit, okay. So he kind of connected with Star-Lord in that notion as being a throwaway.
This guy's fucking good, yo. I swear, man.
Okay.
Nick is a legend.
See, I fucking completely forgot about that. I know I paid attention to that conversation. I just didn't make those connections with it. And that's super dope that fucking, that's where he draw that connection. He saw a little bit of himself in there as a throwaway, as a, just a useful piece of a puzzle or a piece on the board type deal, Yo, so real quick, Mick, while I got you in here and you're still in the chat, one of my viewers, SSG, so Super Saiyan Guy, I'm assuming, Super Saiyan Dirty Lou, he's been in, he's supporting. He said we should do review of Green Street Hooligans. It's one of his top 3 favorite movies. We should do Snatch and we should do Mary Poppins. Now, to you, Dirty Lou, I don't know how you feel about The Sound of Music, but Saturday night at 9 p.m. on the Z Network, and I'll be streaming it here as well in case you want to come drop in, either here or the Z Network. Popcorn and Pints is another movie podcast that we do. We pick 2 movies for every week. We go through them and we find a way that they relate or correspond to each other. We're doing The Sound of Music this week, so if that's part of your cup of tea, come on down, get in the chat. And if you guys end up seeing Mick Manhattan, and he's in the chat as well from the Scene Snobs, make sure you engage with him because he loves this movie. By love, I mean absolutely loves it as much as he loves, like, ice cream.
See, he says, screw this movie. By that, people love to screw. Boom. Screw The Sound of Music. You love to screw. Boom. That's what he means by that. He loves the movie. He loves it so much he wants to screw it.
That's it. Dirty Lou, I did write them down, so I will add them to somewhere in the rotation of the things that are coming and that I want to do. It may be a little bit, so I'm going to need you to do me a favor and make sure that wherever you are, you hit that follow, you hit that like, you hit that subscribe, so that when it does come up, you are definitely in there on that conversation. I may even open it up to some of the viewers if you guys are down and you want to get in on the podcast. I can send you a link. We can do a live stream on it. You can give your relation right there to it instead of doing it in the comments. Whatever you want to do, whatever you're comfortable with. But when you see that notification and you see that event's dropping, you got to make sure you're there to find it. You got to make sure you're there to react to it, and you can hit me up in the DMs and we can get you on if you want to do it.
Yep. And it's fun as hell, people. I'm telling you, being on these shows is it's so damn fun. It's so fun.
It's addicting, honestly, especially if you get people that can help drive a conversation or add to the conversation and make you engage in a different way than just what your thought process was gonna be, which is why I love fucking Mick Manhattan getting either on the chat or on the cam with us, because it just helps change dynamics of certain things with different perspectives, and that's the point of this and getting people on. What's good, Naya Shar? How you doing, my love? Thanks for coming in today. Hope your lunch is going well.
Mick is the only one that I've had come on late multiple times just to join the conversation if he's seen the movie or not, because we're like past the movie and it's like, okay, we're gonna turn this conversation more, it's gonna stick with the same genre for my show, horror, but we're gonna just discuss it and bring more things on. I love having Mick on the show. He's fucking great. You guys got to check out his show as well. Can't help but plug that show. Can't help it.
Every time I watch one of his TikToks, I gotta go and fucking watch a stream. I have to, because one of those that gets that intrigue going. It gets you like, okay, where's this conversation going? Where does it go after this, right? Because the clip is good and it's engaging and it keeps you there. But then now it's like, I want to see what the hell was
The whole
before this and what
conversation.
the hell was after this. You know what I mean? And then
Yeah,
since
the
we
whole
know him and
conversation.
we have contact with him, you know, I mean, everybody does. You can hit him in the DMs and all that. But we get to be like, hey, man, remember that thing, blah, 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 blah. And we can get to revisit. And then it just helps build even more of the content,
Yeah.
more of the conversation with everybody.
Getting deeper into like, what were you talking about with this and blah, 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 blah. And actually, I listen to his podcast when I'm at work. I'll download it before I go to work and I'll listen to the audio version of it. You know, Monday, be either Monday, Wednesday, or Friday when I'm in the office. That's when I do most of my podcast listens, and I'm always laughing. Having a good time, and just listening to conversations. And they're kind of reviewing movies and stuff that I've never heard of or I'm not that interested in, but their conversation just makes it very interesting.
Yep.
Oh shit! I never thought about it like that.
Yep. I fucking love it. So go check out the scene stops. Don't forget tomorrow at 7 p.m.
Tonight.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm fucking delayed. Tonight. It's Friday the 13th. They're going down basically talking about the entire Friday the 13th Jason series movies. So don't miss that. Go check it out. He's curating and he is leading the way for the, was it North Carolina ScareCon you said?
Yep. Carolina Fest. Carolina Fest. And I'm telling you guys, I'm gonna be on there, but it might be Sturdy Voorhees that's gonna be on there tonight.
There you go.
You're not gonna want to miss that.
There you
You're
go.
not gonna want to miss that.
So of all of this dysfunction, of all of this family fucking debauchery and all this stuff, like we start to realize that despite people's, you know, upbringings, despite their experiences and exposures, they still always have the notion of good or bad, or the notion of the heart, right? Their sympathy for people and empathy for other beings and entities in the galaxy and in the world. And that's one of the things I love that gets, you know, shown. It may not be literally blatantly told to you, but you pick up on it. You see the interaction. You see Yondu giving a shit. You see Rocket being mindful and thoughtful and trying to get the music going for Peter. You see the interaction and the care they take for Baby Groot. You see that even though Gamora Nebula hates Gamora, there's still this part of her that, like, she's like, I wish I could have loved you. I wish we could have been better sisters, but I just need to be better than you, like, type deal. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So they still tug at those internal battles and those internal struggles that everybody pretty much deals with. You know, going through life and having interactions with other people, being social, getting through your work day. You know, there's things that you gotta either decide it's gonna affect you and you're gonna let it be the thing that makes you respond a certain way, or not respond a certain way, or not respond at all, or, you know, push it to the side, let it go, or, you know, make that a piece of conversation for later. Maybe now it's not the time, but I'll bring that up later so that we can get through it and we can both have an understanding of each other. There's a lot of that aspect that goes on. I wish it could have been a little bit more understood with Peter and his dad. I wish it didn't have to be the way it was and end the way it was. Because I mean, you know, there's so many aspects of things that come up within family dynamics with, like, things like the sins of our fathers, right? And shit that comes up later in life that we have to deal with, or, you know, we didn't see coming, but now it's a part of our life, or we realize that certain things, certain traits or certain behaviors are passed down because we observed them. Well, in this case, that's what happened with him with Yondu, but that's not what happened with him with his dad. But then he has this strong will to be able to say, I'm different, I'm not you, break the generational fucking you know, cycles and the generational holdbacks and shit like that, and go, okay, so I have this power. In the moment he gets to make a decision on which way he wants to tilt, go his dad's way or continue on the path he's on and better himself and help the universe continue to live and thrive. And he has to choose what's right for him in that moment, right? Which is continuing to keep everybody alive, live a life, enjoy, you know, the things that he can enjoy while he is alive, instead of being destructive about things or just being a tyrant and taking over everything like his dad wanted to. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. But I mean, at the same time, though, I think a good thing of, like, his falling out and not getting that connection he wanted with his father even after he met him, the good thing about it is you got to see how Yondu really was, like, deep down how he really was a person, I guess you said. I don't know what his thing is. I'll just say the person, and then it makes you. For me, it made me like him even more because I just like his badassery. I love his fucking weapon. His weapon is one of my favorite fucking weapons in Marvel. It's just that whistling shit. I thought that's cool, especially because I can't whistle. That's another reason why. But I think that's just cool how he just whistles and just goes all over the place and shit.
Like,
But
what
it
do you
really,
call that? Is that a dart or is that a fucking arrow?
I don't know. I guess you call it an arrow though, right?
That's what I mean. It's like, wait. So, and then this is the other funny part. It's like quill. Oh no, that's quiver. I was gonna say quill. He's got an arrow, so that he give him the name. But then I'm like, no, it's not the same thing. Never mind. Because the quiver's what holds the arrows, right?
Yeah, his weapon's called a Yaka arrow.
Okay, so it is an arrow.
Yeah, the quiver thing. You're right.
I got so engaged with the chat and everybody and like Mick and the conversation and all that shit that I've been forgetting to actually like change us on screen on my thing. So it's just been both of us on the screen the whole time, which is good. It's better than me fucking locking it in on just you or just me. You know what I mean? But now I'm over here cycling through and changing the scenes like, oh shit, yeah, I should have been doing that. I'm trying to get my production quality down and a system in for you guys because I don't have a stream deck or none of that shit, okay? So keyboard shortcuts are fucking life. The mouse clicks are life. This shit takes work, which is why I need you to hit that like, that follow, and that bell. Jesus.
Bing, bing, bing. Y'all can do it. Y'all can do it.
What was the... we're coming up on the end here. So, you know, he makes the choice that he makes. I forget how long these movies are. I really do until I actually watch them. You know, he makes the choices that he makes. He has to basically make a stand against his father, and his team has to, you know, band together with Yondu and his people and all that stuff. You know, everybody pretty much has to make amends and confront some shit from their past. And then we get through to the end of it. So, yeah, I mean, that's kind of the way life goes, right? Like, if you leave shit undone or unsaid, it always comes back and has to be dealt with eventually. You know, you can only put shit off until you can't no more type deal. You know, and hopefully putting it off doesn't compound the issue even more and, you know, cause any type of events to occur that could have been avoided. You know, that's why it's always better to just take care of shit in the moment and say your piece or fucking just do what you gotta do right then and there and, you know, make sure everybody gets what they need to get out and handle it. You know, it's tough that, you know, most people don't even realize that notion in being an adult most times. Everybody's so caught up in, you know, their ego and their fucking pride and shit like that half the time they don't even want to listen. Like, yeah, uncomfortable conversations suck and are hard sometimes, and hard conversations, you know, hurt sometimes. But as long as it's not coming from a place of fucking malice, you know, it is what it is. Sometimes you just gotta fucking swallow the pill so that you can move on, you can grow, and everybody can continue on their path. You know what I mean? So that's another thing I loved about this whole movie and everything like that. You get all of these dynamics. This was a very, very, not, I guess you can say thought-provoking movie, but at the same time a very in-depth, deep kind of situational movie with even though it still had tons of banter and humor, even though it had tons of action, you know, even though we got to connect even more with these characters that we had a good time with from the first one, you know, it just makes it adds more of that diamond presence, that shine, and that like meaningfulness to it, you know, being able to deal with shit like this. And then at the end there's sacrifice and loss that occurs, right, with Yondu doing what he does to make sure that Peter can go on and letting the bomb explode and all of that shit. Like, it hurts at the same time. It's what had to happen, you know. And in the moment when that person makes that stand to make the sacrifice for the greater good, it's one of those things that it's bittersweet at the time, and they understand and they come to terms with it really fast, and you kind of have to, you got to make peace with your decision and what's about to happen to you, right? Whether you're a firefighter, police officer, you're running into a building, you're, you know, a fucking soldier, like for the greater good, for the greater, expansion or development or continuing to let things go. Sometimes it is what it is, and somebody has to be that person to make the choice. Now, part of my positivity thing that I've been doing and listening to and reading up and it's changing dialogues and shit, right? So I use the word sacrifice, and even though yes, it is a sacrifice ultimately, and it's the ultimate sacrifice that can be had. One of the things I've been trying to do is start looking at sacrifices in a different scope. So instead of it being something that's missed out on, you know, instead of it being something that you wish you had done, you gave up. Let's say, right? That's what a sacrifice is. You've given up something. He's actually making an investment, right? He's making an investment into the future of the galaxy, the future of Quill, the continuation of all things that are, that he hated in the world and the universe, and he loved in the world and the universe, so that it can continue to exist and thrive and be successful and go through its natural courses. Without this intervention, none of that would have happened, and it would have been completely different. This movie would have ended completely differently had Quill sided with his father and, done what, if he would have thought that was the right choice to make, done what he did. And essentially we could have seen the birth of one of the biggest antagonists that the MCU could have had, even more so of a threat greater than Thanos, right? At this point.
Possibly. And really quick, what you just said about how if he would have chose his father's side, I feel like in a way he did with Yandu, just because that's the guy who was, I mean, yes, for the wrong reasons at first, but that's the guy who was there for him. It's a guy who made him into the man who he is, and then sacrificed himself for him, sacrifice his life for him. Like, that's something a father would do for their child. You know what I mean? That's something a father would do for their kid. Any father would do something for their child. I'm going to sacrifice my life for yours. So,
but like I said, he didn't sacrifice it. He invested it.
Both.
We got to put the different spin on it, the positive spin. Sacrifice is a negative connotation. Investment is a positive thing because it gives you an outcome that you're waiting on for. It's an investment.
Okay, we can say that. That works. He invested his life into
the galaxy.
Yeah. And then what was cool too was like for Yandu's send off when the guild comes back. And they're just like, they let the guild know like what he did.
Yep.
And then they're just like, they all come back and show their respect and do the whole that.
Yep.
I think that was dope. And that was like another serious moment right there where nobody was really joking around. Usually when stuff happens, they're joking around, like Drax, Rocket. Those two are the main two. And then, of course, Star-Lord. But none of them were like that whole jokey. It was just like, okay, this is a serious, sad moment. I like how they played it off with that as well. Made it like a serious, sad moment, and then like that much respect moment.
And that's the thing that like I love imagery like this that occurs, because too often, despite a person being a good person who may have made mistakes or made bad choices, ultimately, if they do the right thing, they get no praise for it because of those few things in the past, or because of those indiscretions or whatnot from the past. And that's the only thing that we end up focusing on and seeing, instead of just letting go of that shit and realizing just how complex we all are, just how complicated life is, and how complicated everybody is, and all the thoughts that run through your head. And sometimes you make good choices, sometimes you make bad choices. But if we fucking look at the scales, right, if there's a tunnel at the end of the road and where the judgment happens or whatnot, before you're either reborn or one with the energy in the universe, whatever your belief is, there's got to be a way for you to hope or know that, you know what, no matter what fucked up shit I did, if my good shit outweighs the bad, that's not going to be the only thing that condemns me, period. And it sucks that we got to think about that as terms of at the end of our life and at the end of the road, instead of us realizing that before we get to that point, so that we can all come together and embrace each other, because we all fuck up. We all make mistakes. So if you're going to be hard on somebody else, you better be fucking willing to be just as hard on your fucking self, and not go crying victim when that shit happens to you and you're like, woe is me, why are you punishing me? I've been a really great person for 99% of my life and I just fucked up. You better remember that shit when it's your time.
Yeah, hell yeah.
Judgmental fucks.
1,000,000,000% on that. I agree with you 1,000,000,000% on that. People will judge people for their past discretions and past mistakes and completely ignore all the good they did. It's fucked up.
And especially if the shit comes after the fact.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? If you struggled, you battled, you went through all of the steps of retribution and the consistency, and you put into work and you showed up to do what you had to do to never be that person again or have those situations or make those choices ever again, then fucking A, give the praise. Show those people that, you know what, you see it. You see them. Great job. Because most of the time, those are the people that deserve it, where you're the one who's being judgmental about shit, and yet you don't deserve half the praise you get. This motherfucker's been through a life of this, that, and the third. These hardships, went through shit, realized shit, was accounted for the shit, made himself accountable or herself accountable for the shit, and made a choice to never be that again and consistently show up in the new fashion of the best selves that they can be. You better make sure you're praising that and you take a lesson or two and you listen to what the fuck they got to say, because they can probably show you a thing or two.
Yeah, hell yeah. I'm at the part now, just the last part of this movie, where they send Yondu off. They're about to do the whole, that respect thing, but how Quil gives the one guy Yondu's weapon. He's like, he'd probably want you to have this.
Yeah.
And that guy gives Quil a zoom. Remember though?
Yep.
And it's just so freaking hilarious out of everything, because it could have easily been. Well, I guess nowadays it would have been an iPhone. It's iPod. You know what I mean? It could have been an iPod. But it was a Zoom, and I just feel like that was probably just because of that was probably just because okay, if we use an iPod in this, we're gonna pay tons and tons of fucking money. Versus Zoom,
was that, a Zoom?
I don't know if it was Sony or Microsoft or what.
Microsoft. That's right.
Yep. Whoever it was, they're probably like, okay, here's a couple of dollars. These things are gone anyway. Here's a few dollars we want to use this for.
I mean, it's cool that it shows a progression in technology there. You know what I mean? Because he went from the Walkman to fucking, something digital at least. You know what I mean? He could have gave him a mini disc player. You know what I mean? Or he could have gave him a CD Walkman. Be like, yeah, now I got the upgrade, and then the shit just keeps skipping on him the whole time. You know what I mean?
Yep. No, you're right. You're right. But I thought that part was kind of funny. And then when the guy's trying to use the thing when he's whistling, then it just keeps going off. Oh, I love that part too.
All right. So what was the end credit scene on this one? I keep forgetting. I watched it again last night to fall asleep to it.
Part of it is when the guy is doing the whistle thing, trying to mess with the. That's like the mid-credit one.
Yeah, I remember that. Yep.
Oh, end credit is Stan Lee talking to the people in space or whatever in the spacesuit. He has a cameo then, and then that was it. There was a few mid-credit ones, but no,
So I'm trying to think. Is there anything that segues, that shows and leads to anything else that was coming in this one, or was this one just a fun time type deal, just little hee hee ha ha moments?
I'm not sure. Hang on.
I can't remember.
There's like a couple. What it is with this one, there's a couple like mid-scene type of deals. Like with
fucking thing.
Stallone and his crew. They do like a little. They just say something. I have it on mute, so I can't hear.
Yeah, it's something about what.
But there was nothing. I guess there was nothing like really big. Maybe that was. But there was nothing like really big. Or wait a minute. Okay, so it's at the gold people. Skip to the credits. And again, I should have start putting closed captioning on this. Makes sense.
That's just funny. Drax gets hit with the fucking arrow.
Drax is a funny character, man, too. He was a funny one.
That's what I'm saying. Batista did a great job.
Hell yeah, he did a really good job for this movie. But again, it's Marvel casting the people for what they can do and like excel at.
All right, so he's got some new recruits.
Oh, okay. So the gold people, they said Adams.
Let's go
Bring it
steal
on,
some
Adam.
shit. So okay.
They show that hit. They just show this like big gold. It kind of looks like a tomb, I guess you would say. And he's in there, or whoever's in there, and it's just like kind of propped up, and they're talking and says, "I think I'll call him Adam."
Created here, their wrath will dissipate.
It's a new type of birding park, man.
That, my child. The next step in our
That was
evolution.
It was a fun movie. That was definitely a really fun movie. Like I said, it's up there for me. It's definitely up there for me.
Okay, so that's what it is. Okay, so there's
Calling. Adam.
Adam.
Pause.
Okay, so that they give you the introduction of Adam, which is going to be the next villain probably in Guardians 3.
Mhm.
You're boring.
She's really
You know what's
pissed off.
boring? Sitting there playing that.
So she's
Super
got that
pissed.
thing that ancient thing that was sealed up in the gold. He's gonna call him Adam.
boring.
So that's gonna be the next thing for Guardians 3. Because she wants to destroy them because of all the shit that happened.
Where you going?
And then this shows the
You were
Watchers.
supposed to be my lift home.
Yeah, that's what it was. Stan Lee's talking to the Watchers.
Gee,
That's who he is. Okay, okay.
Stories to tell. Guys.
Stan Lee, man, I'm gonna miss his cameos. Like when they're not in the movies anymore.
My job
when-
is to
from
make
what I've
college easier.
No, from what I've seen. From what I've seen.
So yeah, so that's the big thing. So it sets us up for Guardians 3 for sure. I completely forgot about that. But yeah, they pissed her off to that point that now she becomes the antagonist, and has a warrior that she's gonna unleash on them in the universe to try to get retribution. And then it shows the Watchers, which that leads into a little bit of actually that leads into a little bit of like What If and this new Doctor Strange movie. So that's kind of an Easter egg kind of cameo thing for that. So I'm excited for it, man. So Sturdy,
What's up?
it's that time, man.
Is that ratings time?
It's results time. It's ratings. So for Guardians of the Galaxy 2, brother, Volume 2, what are we giving? What are you giving this one?
I forgot what I gave the first one, but I like them about the same.
Not even an I Am Groot.
No, I told you, vocabulary got way better when I stopped hanging out with Vin Diesel. 8.5.
8.5. Okay. Yeah, I love this. This is a 9 for me.
And I can kind of really quick before we do wrap this one up, I can see why before when me and you were before we got to these films where you were saying like Guardians are high up on your list. Before I've seen them, I understand why, because I'm thinking of them being just like too kind of. I mean, how did I put it? More so like the not necessarily throwaway, but kind of like the gap filler. You know what I mean? The gap filler to get you to the next part, but these were way more gap filler.
Oh yeah, no.
Or to me, honestly, I'm gonna say this, people. To me, the first two Thor movies. Again, I didn't see anything else Thor-wise, but the first two, those were gap fillers to me. Those are just like we got to kind of introduce Thor, kind of do something instead of having him as a side character and all that. Yes.
Yeah. Yeah, these are super great standalones on their own, but in the grand scope of the picture of everything that's going on is coming from the universe. Everything that Tony is worried about is coming from space. These are the direct links. These Captain Marvel, like all that shit is the outer greater picture thing that's occurring with Thanos, who makes another appearance, right, and all this shit. They fleshed him out, they made him, which ends up being ultimately the biggest and most dangerous threat that comes down in the MCU that they deal with up until, you know, the end of this point. We'll see where MCU goes further with the new phases and all this shit. Certain themes are revisited and such like that, but these are among my favorite because this is where you get a good ass amount of storytelling, you get a good amount of decent acting, you get a good amount of comic relief and humor, you get a good amount of the sentiment and like you know, heartfelt stuff and struggles and all that stuff. Like, this is a good ass all around movie. You know what? This is a 9.5. This is a 9.5. This is my first 9.5. I think I gave one movie a 9, but this is a 9.5. But I like every time I think about it and I talk about these movies, they make you feel this. They make me feel a certain way, which gets me excited and I get fizzed up. You know what I mean? Like I feel the bubblies. So I love these movies.
What's great about these two movies is because they followed Age of Ultron, which may not have been one of the stronger Avengers movies. Again, I haven't seen the other ones between the first one and that one. I still really enjoyed it. But they followed an Avengers movie where you have everybody, like the Avengers there, and they followed strong.
Mm-hmm.
They followed really strong. Like, and I'm only saying this because with the first Avengers movie, I think it was the first Thor movie that came right after that. The first or second one, I don't remember which. But it was like here, and then it kind of brings you down. With the Avengers and Age of Ultron in this, it was almost straight across the board for me. I don't remember what I gave Age of Ultron, but I'm just saying, like, it wasn't a dip off, and if I did give it a higher rating, it wasn't a far dip off with these two films at all.
No, yeah, I loved what they did with this. I think they did a phenomenal job. This again, the imagery and the space and all of that shit looked super good. The CG did great. The makeup was super dope. The way they shot different scenes and shit like that was dope. The cast did a phenomenal job. The story's fucking dope in its development. The action's super dope. The banter back and forth is on point. And then the dynamics between all of the important things of the story, it just does it all. It really does it all.
It does. It definitely does.
Fucking love Guardians of the Galaxy. Kudos to Chris Pratt. Kudos to the team. Kudos to James Gunn and his writers, his executive producers, and everybody who helped make this vision come to literally. Because this is one of the lesser known entities of Marvel. Period. Not MCU. Marvel Comics. Period. Like this was. I'm pretty sure this was a short run of a comic series or whatnot. And it just means so much that they're able to take that because that story held up so well and loop it in and make it a cinematic fucking gold mine. It's just great job. Great fucking job.
They did an amazing job.
Like
amazing.
I like some of these characters more than I like some of the bigger characters at times. You know what I mean? Especially when they're grouped together. It's like you can't knock it.
No, not at all. And I think that is what helps this movie, because I feel like as good as and as much as I enjoyed these films, the Guardian movies, I don't know if they can do a standalone with just one of these characters. Like as a group, they're great. I don't know how they'd be solo. I know you have like solo parts with them throughout the movies here and there, but it's not a full film. Yeah. So I don't know how it would be like that. But as a group, they do great, and I feel like that really plays a huge part into it, which is not a bad thing at all. It's a great thing because it kind of shows how the team built up and all that other good stuff. But yeah, 8.5 for me, man. I had a great time with this movie, and Ant-Man's next. I've never seen that, so it'll be another first time watch for me.
To that point, it's true. Like these characters would fall completely apart if they tried telling complete detailed stories or had their own standalone on their own or whatnot. But when you bring, because even in the movie they have their moments, right? They all have their pieces to the puzzle that gets played out, and they're separated at certain times. They're off doing this. Quill's over here doing this. He's off in the spur of the moment. Drax is dealing with X, Y, and Z on the one side, and then but at the same time, it's that gold of them still working together while at times doing what they feel they need to separately, but then it's the team dynamic, at the end of the mission, let's say, or the end of the day, it's fucking because of all of their actions at those different positions and different things. That's what made it the win for them. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. And I was gonna I had it, just lost it like that. Oh, here's what I was gonna say. If they did do like some sort of spin-off where they were telling kind of more of their backstories, I think it would make it better if it was a mini series or like a little series, say like a 3-episode series per character, hour long. That way you still get 3 hours, but you're not getting like a movie. You're getting like little kind of a, you know what I mean? Like kind of a little series. Because how you were mentioning earlier with Yondu and Star-Lord, just you want to see that dynamic and how that story played out. I feel like if they did it as a series, it can work. And maybe if you did half-hour episodes and did like 6 to 8 episodes or whatever, still. But you don't need the movie. So I'll say like half-hour episodes, maybe 8 to 10 episodes, but it's like a half hour, so it's more digestible. And I know some people sit there and binge it, but it's just like it's kind of weird how we watch movies, isn't it? Kind of how like we'll complain about a 3-hour film, but at the same time you're sitting there 3 hours watching a series, but it's just more digestible. Like at any point I can pause the series, go off and do whatever and watch the next episode. With the movie, it's just like I don't know what it is, honestly. I really don't.
It's the formula that's used, right? Because in episodic entities, you got to be able to grab attention, hold attention, make people feel certain
True.
things, drop them off, and then right at the end, keep them wanting to come back for that next part where you cut it off at a point that they have to get to
Come
the next
back, yeah.
episode because there's no conclusion, there's no closure there, you know what I mean? So you have to. But then by the time you get to the next episode and that thing is situated and you get the closure on that, another situation is arising, which then you get to that.
That's
other
very
ending
true.
episode, and
That
you're
is
like,
very-
fuck, now I gotta see what the hell happens here.
That's true too. I'll say that's true, and then I think just the simple fact that's like, okay, I gotta watch this 3-hour movie like Sound of Music, which I'm not excited about, but I'm just using it as an example, like a 3-hour movie versus watching this series, which is only a half hour a piece, but I know I'm probably gonna watch the whole freaking first season of it. But it's just seeing that whole. I have to sit here for 3 hours to watch this content. If you're into it or not, I have to sit here for 3 hours to watch this content versus I'll sit here for a half hour to watch one episode. I can always come back to it. And then once you watch that one episode, and fucking 6 hours later, you just been sitting in your bed all day eating Doritos naked, watching whatever. But I think that's what it is. I think it's just the thing of half hour, 3 hours. Even though you're gonna watch 3 hours of this, you know what I mean, or 6 hours of this, and you're complaining about this 3 hours because this says it's 3 hours, this says it's a half hour or 45 minutes, and then it's of course with the shows too, it says it's say an hour, but it's really 45 minutes because of the commercial breaks and all this stuff. You know what I mean?
Yep.
I think that's also a big part of it.
Yeah, because I mean, back in the day, right, you used to have to watch an episode of a show and then you had to wait a week before you get to see the result of it, or you see the conclusion, you see the climax, you see how it unfolds, right? Then you gotta wait another week for the build up and the setup of the next thing, and then all of a sudden, you know, that's why I think miniseries were always kind of my favorite thing, because there's so much that would go in. I just hated having to wait. Now we got streaming where we don't have to wait. It plays right after the next one. It plays right after the next one, or you can tell it to not, but then you still have to make the mindful decision to click it. And 9 times out of 10, you're clicking that shit so that you can get that resolve. You can get that, you know, that closure you're looking for. You can be informed, or you can be in the know of what's happening.
I'll say this though, I like what Amazon does as far as like show like what is it called? Incredible? Is it Incredibles? Not
Yeah, the
Incredibles.
cartoon. Yep.
You know what I'm talking about? The
Invincible.
superhero Invincible, thank you. Invincible, and with The Boys, how it doesn't drop it all at once. It's weekly. It's a good and bad for me, because the reason why I like it is because like it gets you coming back every week for it. Like you were just saying how they used to do with old school stuff. But you always have something to watch, like, oh shit, next week. And it's cool because then you can have, like, say if we, just for example, say we were reviewing The Boys, season 3, and as soon as the first episode comes out, we review it the next day. I'm not saying it's going to happen the same. And then it's like a week later. So it gives you time to break that one episode down, digest it, and then watch the next episode, digest it, instead of like having it all lumped together, or like, you get what I mean, instead of having everything out at once. So it makes it kind of easier for that breakdown, makes the conversations better. And for people that hate spoilers, like I can avoid them. I really don't care, more or less. I'd rather not if it's something I really want to see, but I know how to avoid them. But with the whole spoilers thing, as far as like, I'm not even talking about podcasts. If you're spoiling on your podcast, you should. But as far as when people are spoiling in the comments, some people that watch that, you know, okay, I can watch this whole series this weekend versus someone who can only watch maybe 1 or 2 episodes this weekend, 1 or 2 episodes next week. It's like you only have an option to watch this 1 episode this week, and then next week you can watch 2 because you got 1 and 2. So I'm in the middle with it.
You know, and that's just to kind of piggyback again and keep going with that, because that's part of the problem with our current nature of instantaneous, right? Our current nature of, hey, everything has to happen now. Everything has to have a show a result now. Everything we need to be able, and that's annoying. At least before you used to, I mean, as much as it was annoying to have to wait a week to see it, at least that gave you some time to kind of chill for a minute, come down, think about and process what you just viewed and saw. You know what I mean? And then get back to it. It gives you something to look forward to. It gives you something to be excited about. where now everything is like, okay, I need it now, I want it now, I'm gonna order this Uber Eats, it better be here in 30 minutes, I'm gonna fucking stream, you know, the next whole season of this show so I can get caught up and be in the know at the lunch table at work, or get into this group chat and know what people are talking about or whatnot.
I'm glad you said that, like, at the lunch table, because it makes me think of going back to like the school days, and it's like, cool, I did just watch, let's just use Batman animated series for example.
Yeah.
I just watched Batman yesterday, like the new episode of Batman, and you're talking about that with your friends for the whole week, and sometimes there's somebody that missed, you know, there's through school, there's somebody that throughout the week, of course, there's one or two people that missed a day or two of school. Not necessarily they missed that episode, but it's like, I can't wait for so-and-so to come here so we can discuss this.
Yeah.
And then you all discuss that at the lunch table, at recess, or whatever, or you're hanging out after school and watching it. And then it's like the following week, yo, guys, next week, same time, boom, boom, boom. Power Rangers was like another one. I kind of missed that, but I also do love the whole lumped together stuff, because being married at school to just, you know, kick it with the wife, it's something that you both enjoy watching. It's like, why don't we just sit down and watch this show, hit play, and we'll just see how many episodes we get through. If you start getting tired, we'll stop it, or if you want to watch something different, we can stop it and go to something different, whatever the case may be. But I'm in the middle of it. Like I said, it's a hit or miss for me. It's one of those things to where I think it's for certain things. Like I said, like I like how it does it with The Boys and how it does it with Invincible, and then I also with Netflix, I could just binge shit. Like sometimes the horror stuff, I love to just sit down and binge stuff because my wife loves horror. So like, cool, let's just binge this series and see how it is.
Yeah. So like what I try to do is sometimes I'll try to like pause it on certain instances, like if something big happened or whatever, and give that moment of the look over, make the eye contact, and then maybe get a conversation going so that you're actually engaging and not just vegging out. And like, yeah, it's cool to be hanging out with your significant other, watching a movie or three, or fucking, you know, a whole fucking series or whole season of a show or whatnot, or a whole show period. But at the same time, if there's no interaction, there's no banter, it's almost like, you know what I mean? And it's like, all right, so now I gotta go find somebody to talk about that I just saw this shit with when you got this person right here. You know what I mean? Yeah. So I try to make those moments kind of have to happen. Like it's not as, you know, as spaced out, or you don't get all the time of like the next day you've thought about it the whole time. Now you want to talk to somebody, or now it's 3 days later, or you remembered something. Yo, remember I forgot to say this. Did you realize this? Blah, 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 blah. And it's like you used to have almost this whole week of pockets of conversation that could be had about it and interaction socially with people. You know what I mean? So now it's like you fly through, you get through the shit, and then the next time that might come up is if there's a discussion with other people that may or may not have seen it. You're asking them, hey, have you seen this, blah, blah, blah. Oh, you got to see because this and this might have, like, you got to see the shit that happens, and then you got to be vague so you don't spoil it for them, but it's still not that same connected in depth where everybody knows what's going on and can have the conversation. You know what I mean? So that's the part of things that I miss. It's like, so that's why I really love doing this stuff, because everybody's seen the shit, and if they haven't, it's their first time watching. That's super cool for me, that I think, you know, that you get to see it for the first time, and now you're enjoying something, you know, as much as I'm enjoying it, or if not more, or you enjoy it less, but at least I get to know and I hear your perspective, and then we get to talk about it and go back and forth with dialogue and interact with each other about this shit. That's the best part of this.
Like, I mean, and same thing. That's what I love about the podcasting thing too. Is you get everything you just said, and it's like it's almost like you're back at recess or back at the lunch table, sitting with your friends and just talking. But instead of just talking with just your friends, you're talking with the world, so to speak. You're talking with people you've never met. You're talking with people backgrounds you. Just because as kids you're more narrow-minded and stupid. You're talking with people you may have never hung out with just because. And now it's like as an adult, it's like, oh shit, this is the. I'm not saying us, I'm just saying as a general thing, and I love that aspect of it. It's fucking great. It's fucking great, man. I
think people need to do that shit more. I think people need to stop being fucking assholes and stuck up. And if somebody nods their head at you walking down the street or says, hey, how's your day going? Don't look at them with a stank face or be like, what the fuck did you just say? You know what I mean? Like, no, engage in the converation. Like, what's the big deal? Who cares? Talk to a stranger.
I'm actually trying to do that more so, which I'm generally a nice person. I just, hey, good morning, how's it going? It just as simple as that. Just because those things I'm noticing can change the entire mood of a person just by saying good morning.
Yep.
Hey, how's it going? Good morning. That's it. Yep, that's literally all it takes. You don't have to sit there and have a drawn out long ass conversation. Just good morning, how you doing?
Yep, it's all in the delivery and the way you say it. You know what I mean? If you say to somebody morning, and you kind of got a chip on your shoulder about it, yeah, then I can understand if they're responding like, yeah, whatever. You know what I mean? But then,
But and then I mean, like, depending on who you are, like, you know how my personality is.
yeah.
Like, for example, Wednesday at work, elevator, because you go up in the elevator and you have to scan to go into the next floor thing. If I see somebody coming in, I'll open the door for him. Made the joke because there was a guy and his girlfriend coming in. His girlfriend was walking in first. I opened the door. I seen him. I was like, oh, if I knew it was you, I'd just help the door close. But that's that fun banter to kind of start the day, laugh, joke, stuff like that, having fun with it. But you love people not just random people. But just, being nice to each other.
There was a lot of instances when I worked at the credit union and shit, and Dreams can attest to shit like this too, where we would get people that, for whatever reason, whatever was going on in their life or that morning, or who fucking knows, maybe they stubbed their toe, maybe they got bit by a mosquito and they're itchy, who fucking knows, maybe they just didn't get a good night's sleep and they're just complete assholes and they're trying to take it out on you. Like, there's been tons of times where those people that were the quote unquote sucky customers, the mad ones, the assholes, whatever you want to fucking label them as, that, like, I was always a person that connected with them, and people would be like, how the fuck did you get them to be nice to you? How the fuck did you get them to talk to you? How come they only wait for you now? Like, what did you do? I treated them like a human being, and I saw that they were having a bad day, so I just asked them, do you need anything?
Yeah, I mean, but with that, it's simple. It's an ego thing. Like, you can't fight fire with fire. You can't, what I mean? If you got a hothead coming in, you can't come in being a hothead to try to cool down a situation. You need the water. So it's like sometimes you got to be that water that just kind of cools down the conversation, no matter what. How's it going, man? How's it doing? Blah blah blah. I think if you had to, fine, that's on them. But just be nice.
Yep. Don't be
afraid
to talk to people, and don't be afraid to just, get the response you get and let it be. And, like, you don't know what's going on in that person's head. You don't know what they're dealing. Like, you don't know. They could be the nicest person in the world, right?
Let's have an off day.
Take your boss. Let's say it's your boss, right? Your boss could be the nicest person in the world outside of work. He could be going through some shit. Maybe he's got fucking 2 side chicks, fucking child support's coming at him, fucking he's drinking heavy now, and he seems a little off, and he's being a fucking douchebag lately, and, like, okay, you don't know what's going on, you don't know why. Don't switch up on them. Continue to be you and the person you are, so that when shit gets better again, they can be like, you know what, hey, I really apologize about that situation or those days or whatnot. Like, they might open up to you and be like, I was going through X, Y, and Z. I know people may not get it or understand it, but, I really appreciate you still sticking by, or you still being you. You know what I mean? Like, just don't fucking change the energy. You don't have to always match with what it is. You don't always have to, like you said, fire with fire. Sometimes somebody's fucking breathing fire and they're burning you. So sometimes you gotta do what you gotta do. If you're trying to put out the fire and that's just not working, guess what? Fire also chucks out fire. Sometimes you just can't take no more, and you shouldn't let people run all over you.
Now that being said, being nice doesn't mean being disrespected. That's where people kind of get misconstrued. Being like, if you're gonna come up, if I'm being nice and you're being disrespected, I'm gonna put you in your place. Like, yo, hold up, who the fuck are you talking to like that? You're gonna respect me because I'm being respectful towards you. Now, you're having a bad day, that's fine, but don't take that out on me. Sorry you're having a bad day, but be respectful. I'm gonna be kind. I'm gonna continue to be kind. We can let this one go. Water under the bridge kind of bullshit. Let it go. Don't let it happen again.
Yep. And that happens a lot in this shit. There was a lot of that with the daddy issues that happened, and ultimately the last big one cost Quil 2 fathers, cost Peter 2 fathers. But sometimes investments and the truth comes to light, and sometimes an investment has to be made, or a sacrifice, right? I don't want to say it because, like I said, I'm trying to be more positive and shit. So
I mean, but you could sacrifice. I mean, because the reason why I say I don't think sacrifice could be bad, because he's sacrificing for the good. He's sacrificing for the greater good, which in this case was his son's life. You know what I mean? He's like, look, I know you're gonna make a bigger impact on this world, this galaxy, a more positive impact on this galaxy than I am. This right here is me giving back to not only you, but to the galaxy, for all the people that I fucked over and stole from, this, that, and the third. It's getting you to move on to the next level so you can go on and be great and keep protecting, saving this galaxy. And I'm saving you. Like, I should have years ago. I've always kept you around because I did care for you, but I had to play that tough guy act, this, that, and the third.
Yeah.
And I had to play this whole, again, you were small, so you can fit in small areas, but it was like, no, it was more than that. I really did love you like you were my son. And now here is where I'm really showing you this.
Yeah,
Here's where I'm opening your eyes.
I'm not disagreeing with you. I'm just saying that, like,
Oh no, no.
so basically, when you say certain words, right? When you're having a conversation, and let's say you say the word sacrifice, the first thing the other person's receiving is they think of a sacrifice as kind of like a sad notion or a bad thing, or like, hey, somebody had to
Or
give up
evil.
something, or right, or like, well, like, hey, so even though they got to where they were, they had to give up something, and they're not giving up something. You know what I mean? You don't have to take that feeling of, oh, you know what I mean? Instead, it's like, yo, it's an investment. So they were looking forward to something. They were hoping that they got an outcome out of it that they felt was so great that they made the choice that they did for later, not for now. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah. I mean, again, it works. It works kind of hand in hand because like he did sacrifice something because it was his life to save Star Lord. But I see what you're saying with that as well. And the reason why I said evil really quick is just because with the horror thing with the whole sacrificing and all that other stuff.
Yo! All right, we got to get this going, but I got to show you this in a second. Ladies and gentlemen, it's been your boy, the Worst Damn Gamer. It's been Sir Sturdy, aka Groot Sturdy. You can catch him 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, Tuesdays and Thursdays on his horror podcast. We review tons of horror movies. They're selected by Wheels. We're starting to switch things up to get some newer movies in for you guys as well. So come check him out. Hit him with the like, hit him with the follow, go to his YouTube page, hit him with the subscribe and hit the bell. All right. Make sure we're helping all of our friends grow, helping all of our friends get further on their journey, because this man does just as much, if not more. He's been doing it for 4 years. I've only been doing it for about 8 months a year, and I've only been taking this seriously and applying strategies for the last 3 months. So Homeboy's done the footwork. Homeboy deserves the flowers. Homeboy deserves the credit. He's got tons of podcasts out. He's got over 10,000 listens on his listening platforms. Go follow this man. Super dope. If you like the horoscope, Homeboy on the Z Network right here will hold you down. I'm out of here. Enjoy this midday edition of the Midnight Matinee. It's official that we are all caught up. Tomorrow night, 12 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. So Sunday morning, we'll be dropping the next one, which will be Ant-Man. Come along for the journey on that one if you're awake. If not, catch it later on the VOD. It's up on Twitch for 2 weeks. If you can't catch it there, go over to the YouTube page. Don't forget to hit the bell for me and the notification icon so that you know when more shit's dropping. Gauge if you want to watch it, gauge if you don't. I'd appreciate if you watched it all, so that you can make your decisions on all of it. Don't forget to leave a comment. I appreciate all the love and support on TikTok. I appreciate getting the affiliate email this morning. Super dope to hit a milestone. I appreciate all the love from all the people that don't fucking know me, that have no clue who I was in the world, didn't even know I existed, and now there's 500 people in TikTok. There's 135, 40 people on Twitch that are coming and supporting and watching at different times. There's 30 people on YouTube. I appreciate you all. I'll see you on the next one. Be as bad as you can to make sure you get to be as good as you can. I'm the Worst Damn Gamer reminding you, in order to be the best, sometimes you gotta be the worst. Peace.